Hi everyone. So welcome to another session on our value investing series. So first of all, happy Diwali to everyone. Hope everyone is doing good today. I'm sure every one of you would be busy with your family, going for shopping and buying crackers and stuff like that. So I thought today being an auspicious day, I will share some secret to you. Secret behind becoming rich. Or else I will put it in the other way that what are the secrets behind a person becoming real rich. So please accept this video today as a Diwali gift from Value Investing Series. So if you Google it out, you can see the definition of rich as mentioned on my screen. So before getting into the details of the same, let me first tell or clear one confusion which many of the people are having, especially the middle class or the poor ones. So in the common discussions, we always come to hear that the rich are destroying the economy. They are looting the economy. They are taking the money of common people, middle class and poor class, and taking away all the uh, wealth the other people were supposed to get, and only the wealth is getting concentrated into a small portion of the population. But I have a totally different outlook on the rich. As per me, rich people or the rich, the so-called rich, was not rich, or probably they were not born rich at some point of their life. They were also poor or middle class, but they have put up all their efforts. I would say majority of them put their great efforts, their intelligence, their hard work, and their smartness, and they have reached a particular position. In addition to all these qualities, integrity is one main thing which is important for a person to climb the steps. So, as per me, rich creates work. I repeat, rich creates work. Because to cite an example, say Microsoft, or say other companies like say TCS. So a particular organization is created by so-called rich category, and they have a big company. So that big company, putting up a company means then you will get salaried people. So the middle class works for the rich, I can say. So hence the middle class is supported by the rich. Now the poor, coming to the poor session. So poor class, what are they doing? Majority, they are catering to the requirements of the middle class. Say farming, see other utilities. So whatever the middle class requires, so that is being catered majority by the poor, though they also interact with the rich. So everything as per me starts with the rich. Majority, I'm not telling entirely, but majority. So you cannot ignore or you should not downgrade the rich class. So they are important in an economy to create the different class levels and to ensure that every class of the society or the economy are getting their required cash flow to maintain the economic stability. Further, we'll decode all the intricacies of this claim. So please be patient till then. So the rich, as per me, makes poor and middle class sustainable. So the question is, can poor or middle class upgrade to rich? So many people talk about minimalism or I don't want to get rich. So rich people are people, or the real rich people are those people who doesn't show off. So that's the main thing. They believe in minimalism. They believe in making money with their good skills, but doesn't show off. So all those things we will detail out in the session. So I will throw some light on how rich become rich and what is their way of operation and their way of thinking, and how we people who are middle class or poor can opt their way of thinking or their way of executing things and try to upgrade to a higher designation of rich. So before that, let me explain two things: assets and liabilities. So assets are those which puts money into your pocket, and liabilities is the opposite of asset, which is something which takes out money out of your pocket. If you see, majority of the population class is of middle class these days. Rich becomes very small portion of the economy, and also you get a lot of poor people, but middle class becomes the majority, who are basically the most taxed ones, or I would say the salaried class. So before getting into the detailed analysis, I have collected data from some of my books in the library, so I will personally show you that, so that you can also have a read of that. First book is Rich Dad Poor Dad. So this was really helpful for me to extract some data which is required to complete this session. So this is a good book to read. Another book is Psychology of Money. Even this is a good book to read. So I request or I suggest, if you guys get time, you can always go through this book. So this will really help you. And the another book is Wealth Secrets of the 1%. This also has been very useful for me, and I have extracted a few details from this book as well, so that the content in this video is very much condensed and you learn all the techniques and ways and means by which the rich do all the transactions or the rich create more wealth. So first let's define the various classes. So poor class. So poor class has got income and expenses. So generally speaking, 90% of the income is basically utilized for the basic needs of the poor, and remaining 10% only is saved by them. So this doesn't happen in all the cases. Even some poor people doesn't have any savings as well. So whatever I'm speaking here is on a average general basis. So if you see poor doesn't have anything with them, everything they have earned is normally spent by them to take care of their basic needs. Obviously, because the payments or the earnings by them is very less, and the needs are and the basic needs are definitely to be met, so hardly they have some savings. Now coming to the middle class. So normally the middle class have fair amount of earnings, but what they do is that neither they allocate the earnings they get for generating any cash flow, but what they do is they keep increasing their liabilities, and these liabilities never fetch them any cash flow. And they also try to imitate the rich by buying costly liabilities. So liabilities in the sense car or big bungalow or big flats, which is not actually a requirement by them, the middle class, but still they buy it, which is a purely a liability. As I told, liability is something which takes money out of your pocket, unlike a asset which puts money into your pocket. And in their effort to imitate rich, they lose lot of money, or they hardly save something, because everything goes out as a liability. Usually what I have seen, or from my research, it is understood that middle class spends a lot just to show others how much you have, and I would say that is the fastest way to lose money. So some wise man once told that wealth is what you don't see. Basically the middle class works for money, unlike the rich class who puts money to work. So we will get to the rich class, and at that time I will tell you the explanation for the same. So middle class, as I told, they work for the money. So basically what they do is that they work for companies and government. Companies in the sense salaried class people. So they are made to work properly for the company, and the salary is been obviously paid to them. And they normally put these funds or the hard earned money to FDs or some traditional instruments, traditional financial instruments, and this end of the day fetches government in the form of tax or returns, and basically it becomes a revenue for government, not actually for you. So you are here to get money from your employer to make them rich, and also to give money in the form of tax and other revenue to the government, and to run the government system. So end of the day, you are someone who doesn't earn much from the system, but the system earns from you. So many of you may have a difference in opinion. So I request all of you to sit back and think if really what I am telling is correct or not. So you can always, or you are free to comment me in the comment box what are your opinion on the same. But what I am trying to reveal here is that first trying to understand what is the reality, or share with you what is the reality, and what all things you can do to improve or mitigate that middle class mentality and directly switch into a rich class. So please be patient. I will be decoding everything in this video. Now getting into the rich class, they are best at cash flow management. Rich basically ensures different sources of income, ensuring greater cash flow. I would recall a sentence told by Warren Buffett: never depend on a single source of income. One main thing, if you see, for the rich class is that they really don't care much for the risk they take. So they always are risk takers. So I would like to quote here that recent web series, in that the dialogue, risk hai to ishq hai. So this is a real fact. So if you are a real risk taker with calculated risk and with all your intelligence, integrity, and sincere efforts for the same, I'm sure that that risk, whatever you take, will be fruitful going forward. I always used to say risk is real risk if you really don't know about the subject. But if you know in and out of what you are doing, then that risk is no more a risk. It's a computed risk or a calculated risk. So let us go to some statistics. As per World Inequality Report of 2021, 57% of the total national income is by the 10% of the population. This I'm talking about India. 29.5% of the total national income is by the middle class. And only 13% of the total national income is by the bottom 50% of the population. Again, bifurcating that, top 1% of the holding contributes to 22% of the nation's total income. So the top 1% you can call as the real rich people. They contribute 22% of the total national income, which is very huge. So this is like 1/5 of the total income, or the 1/5 of the total nation's income is contributed by that 1%. In India, if you see, there is a huge gap between the rich and poor. So the key to becoming wealthy is converting ordinary income into passive income or portfolio income. If you see the government taxation, taxes are the highest for ordinary income and the least for passive income. So as I told, let the money work for you and you will become the rich. So don't work for money, let money work for you. So if you dig deep into the rich people, they always lend money from others. So they take debt. So debt is always good if you are utilizing that properly and if you are utilizing that to create proper cash flow. Salary class can also be rich provided they utilize their income, they have proper savings and utilize their income to reinvest or to invest and make money work for you. Unfortunately, tiny savings won't help as far as the salary class is concerned. You really need to invest that money, and whatever you get out of the investment has to be reinvested so that that effect of compounding helps you create continuous cash flow. If you see poor and middle class keeps working, earns, again spends, go to sleep, again next day, go to work, earns, spends, go to sleep. So it's like the cash flow is circular. They don't generate a cash flow out of it. They just spend, and it is like the rich is making money out of you. So again, I recode the sentence: rich makes money work for them, and poor and middle class works for money. So how can you make money work for you? So as it's a value investing series and we talk about equities, stocks, bonds, etc. So I will concentrate our discussion to our specifics of stocks. So say a middle class like us invest in stocks. So stocks are pieces of business, as I mentioned earlier. So pieces of business means, say, Grasim Industries. It's a company. So I am buying, say, 500 shares of Grasim Industries. So now you have equal ownership in that company. So Grasim Industries, as you know, there are got a lot of divisions. Ultratech Industries, they are into cement. Then uh, Birla Capital Services into financial services. Then you have Grasim Industries, they are into viscose fiber, clothing, textiles, etc. Then there are various divisions of Grasim. They are into various businesses, and it is run by the dynamic Kumaramangalam Birla. So by buying those pieces of stakes in the company, you are getting an efficient leader working day and night for you, an efficient employee base working day and night for you, a complete business churning money for you and generating a cash flow for you. So generating cash flow in the sense, in the form of dividends, in the form of profits, and the stock price goes up. So the stock price appreciation, the dividends, then also you get bonus shares. Many times you get stock split, and many times you have mergers of various companies. Like earlier we had this merger of IIIA Nuvo and Grasim Industries. So we had got stakes of IIIA Capital, AB Capital free of cost. So you get such advantages based on the corporate actions in various companies you hold, and you generate rigorous cash flow. So this you cannot do because you are just another person, or we are just another person who don't have high grade knowledge on running a business, but you are trusting based on your analysis. You are buying a business which is properly run by another person who is best at this, and based on his hard work, you are freely sitting in some other state or some other nation and generating cash flow. So I would say this is the best way of generating a free cash flow, provided you analyze properly and invest your money in the correct place. So this is like, you are salaried class, you are getting salary, you are putting that money or you are utilizing that money to buy some company in the form of stocks, and that stocks basically you are owning a company, and the management or the employees are working for you day and night, and that profit generated by the company is given back to you. So this is like you are making the money work for you. You are not actually working for the money. Yes, for you are working in a company, you are working for money there, but the money which you get out of that, you are making that money to work for you. So it's a balance. So at some point it will be like whatever money you have put into the stocks will give you tremendous returns, and at one point you will become, or you can become, financially independent, and somewhere you can call yourself also rich. God has given you basically two gifts, mind and time. So you have to utilize the time in a proper way and have an intelligent mind to ensure that you do all these things and ensure a proper cash flow. So every 1 rupee you get in your hand, probably from your salary, it is based on your time and mind that you decide whether you want to be a poor person or a rich person. So if you put this 1 rupee which you get out of your main job to a particular location, say in stocks, to generate proper cash flow, then this will make the great difference. You can always spend this money for buying a big car or an unwanted big house, which is just to show your status in the economy or in the society, but it doesn't fetch you anything but a liability, and liability will always take money out of your pocket in the form of maintenance or damages to be rectified, or in the form of spends. So I will again briefly tell you some very specific things which only the rich does. So rich doesn't trade time for money, unlike a middle class wherein we trade time for money. Like working in a company, we invest our time, say 9 to 12 hours in the company, and you get a salary. So that is how you trade time for money. So this is normally not done by a real rich person. They will put the money to work, they will utilize their time to generate more cash flow by investing or by making more assets. Rich never backs down. They are great risk takers. They keep trying, even though they fail for the first time, they keep trying. They don't mind spending, but they will ensure that they will reach their aim. The main thing which creates wealth for rich, as I told earlier, is taking debt. So put good use of the debt, use that leverage to generate more cash flow. So take money from the bank at a cheaper rate, then buy an asset, then give that asset for renting. Say, for example, I took loan at a cheaper rate from the bank, then I bought a house, then I gave that house for rent. So I get a rental income out of that. So that rental income is utilized to repay the loans. And by the time we try to close the uh, loan as soon as possible, like you have some stocks reaching their target value, so you can sell off the stocks and you can uh, pay off the debts and prematurely close the loan, so that your EMIs are cut, and that loan amount or that EMI can be utilized as an SIP, and again that SIP can generate tremendous wealth going forward. Even I take debt to invest in stocks, which is very risky. But if you're really clear on what you're investing in, then you can even take debt to invest in stocks. And if the cost of capital, which is the interest of debt and of the loan basically, and what you're getting out of the stock appreciation, say it is 15%, and your loan percentage interest is say 8% or 9%, then that delta of 7 to 8% is your free money. So that's the beauty of utilizing leverage. Another point is that nothing comes for free. So there is huge volatility in the market. There will be ups and downs in the market. Your stock or your portfolio can go as low as 80% loss, 60 to 80% loss. So if you are really clear on your investment rationale, and if the macroeconomical factors are going against you, then you don't have to worry. You can average your stock or you can wait. So these stocks basically, if you are analyzed it properly, then this volatility is part and parcel of it. So this is the cost you have to pay for the asset creation you are in. So buying a big car or buying a big home, this will only impress you. Actually, you are not actually impressing others. So the impression by others may be there for 1 2 days. After that, you have to live with that. You have to live with that liability. So always think twice before going with that liabilities. Also, as far as your apparels or jewelries or the gadgets you buy are concerned, even if the watch or the dress you wear, so many rich people doesn't care of what they are wearing. You have to wear decently, you have to dress up decently, but you need not spend, or in fact you should not spend much on, or you should not waste your time also on such things wherein you are wasting your valuable money and time, which you should have, or which you could have utilized in putting in, or in creating another asset which should have generated real cash flow for you. Another main important thing is long term investing and also the magic of compounding. All these things I have earlier explained in my videos. So magic of compounding, as you see, you should not book profits in the first year itself for a particular stock. It has to have a compounding effect. So you put 1 lakh, then it became 1 lakh 15,000, then that 1 lakh 15,000 will compound in the next year for 10 to 15%. So that compounding effect compared to just 1 lakh is much different. So that compounding effect keeps doubling your money as years goes by. So this effect is very important. For this you will require great patience and a long term perspective. You cannot be a trader, and a trader actually cannot make real wealth. Also, you should be investing in such places wherein you can sleep sound. So say you are doing some options trading or something wherein you lose overnight the entire amount you had bet in that particular options. So this is really risky and it doesn't uh, give you a good sleep. So this is not a correct way basically a rich normally invest in. So you should have good investment portfolio so that you sleep well, and this is also equally important for your financial health. Also, as I told earlier, rich makes money work. If you work for money like a middle class or poor, you will be taxed. Also, real intelligent rich people are those people who really utilizes the history, studies the history very well, and doesn't repeat the failures by others. They try to duplicate the success story of other people who already would have made lot of errors or mistakes in the past. So study those mistakes, study the history, and never repeat those mistakes, because you have fresh mistakes to repeat, that's okay. But if somebody, you have already done a thorough study of the system and all those mistakes already, you have to be clearly aware that you should not repeat those mistakes, so that you create a correct investment mix and a good cash flow generation out of it. So these are some real characteristics of a person to become real rich. Now I want to share you a real secret behind money making. Money should never be accumulated. You should have a continuous cash flow or money flow. So if you save, if you accumulate money by saving and keep it in your account, then this will not multiply your money. You should always have a cash flow. Like you earn money, then you have to invest in something, then that investment will fetch you profits, and that profit has to be utilized for making another asset. Then that will create another profit, and that profit also has to be utilized to put or create another investment. So this is how the money should flow from one place to another. And if you keep accumulating cash, or if you keep accumulating that money, then you will not generate real cash flow. So money has to flow. So this is the real secret behind making money. So this is very clear, and this is not at all clear for a middle class or poor, wherein the money they try to accumulate, they put in some fixed assets which doesn't, or which hardly beats inflation. And in such scenarios, inflation easily beats you and you become poor, or you remains as a middle class. So a typical case of money should not accumulate and it should have a cash flow is basically, you can take a case of a bank. So bank, we normal people do our fixed deposit or deposit in the bank, savings or fixed deposit. So they give out 2.5 3% or 5% on FD, or on savings you get 2.5% or 3%. So average out, say the bank is giving out the interest rate of that deposit at 5% to all the people like us. And he is never stagnating that money in the bank. They are giving out the loans to the required parties, and they are charging them 8.5 to 12% based on personal loan or home loan or any type of interest. So this delta of 3.5, 4, 5, 6% is what the bank is generating from the deposits of various people like us. So he is actually generating a cash flow out of nothing, or he doesn't own anything. Some depository money they are taking and they are keeping it in their safe, and basically for that he is uh, creating a huge cash flow like this. So considering home loan itself, so the 5% interest rate for the fixed deposit and 8.5% for the home loan. So 3.5% is what the bank is generating, but it is not just 3.5%. The ratio you have to take is 8% or 8.5% upon 5%. So that is like 1.7 times they are making money. So it is not just 3.5%. You should not separate 8.5 from 5%. You should actually divide 8.5 divided by 5. So that much percentage, which is 170%, is what the bank is generating money from the simple deposits they are getting from us. So this is how a bank generates cash flow. Similarly, we also have to be intelligent enough to buy assets, to buy stocks, to buy bonds or whatever other financial assets. And I would actually say stocks is the way to your freedom to become rich. So identify good companies, invest in them, create great cash flow out of them, and never tell that you are a normal salaried class or you don't have money. This, if you do intelligently, will really make you rich if you have a long term perspective and if you are patient enough. And also, as I told in my earlier video on rates versus real estate, the real estate these days are becoming very riskier assets considering all the mess related to the sector. So as per me, you should invest in rates or in wits. So again, I have a video on that. So this will create you, or this will generate you much greater income than that of rental income. So this will generate great wealth for you. Also, a basic reason why I have started this value investing series in YouTube a year back is, first of all, I am giving away all the knowledge I have shared over the years and whatever learnings I have got from my various researches. So this is a true giveaway. And also, I strongly believe that the more you give, the more you earn. So there has been a lot of comments or a lot of people discussing with me the various viewpoints of their investment based on my videos. And this also have given me, it's like a give and take thing. So this has also helped me improve my knowledge. And also, you must have seen that the video quality or the other presentability has improved over the time. So this is again your valuable inputs. So I think this session on how to become rich or the secrets behind the rich has helped you. And on this Diwali, please make sure you come out of the basic mentality of you are a salaried class or you are a middle class or a poor person. Please come out of that. I'm sure that if you implement all the things which I mentioned in this video, and also if you follow all the techniques to multiply your wealth, identify stocks, and create wealth over long term is incorporated based on the various sessions I have put in this value investing series, I'm sure that you will come out of all the mess and become a rich person for sure. So once again, happy Diwali to everyone. Stay safe. Till next video, happy investing.